For example, they would say something like, 13.8 billion years ago, the Big Bang happened, right? Then they'll say like 13.6 billion years ago, the stars were formed. They would say something like, 4.6 billion years ago, the sun was formed. 4.5 billion years ago, the earth was formed, okay? So they need all that time in order for evolution to be true, which is another thing, which is another theory that they came out with. First of all, the Big Bang Theory came through Belgian cosmologist, right? He was actually, hold on, I actually have it in my notes here.
And it's a theory.
Big Bang Theory, exactly, yes. So,
just like as evolution too. Evolution theory.
Yes, his name is Georges Lemaitre. He's a Belgian cosmologist, and he was actually a Catholic priest. And they say he was Jesuit trained, right? So if you're a conspiracy theorist, as soon as you hear the word Jesuit, red flag, right? So what I would say is, so that's 13.8 billion years ago. I already told you guys kind of what the order, and then that would be so that you can have evolution come. Now, Charles Darwin, he was the one that came out with the theory of evolution. It's another theory. And his great grandfather is actually is the one that actually started the theory of evolution, and he's a 33-degree Mason. So now you have another red flag as a conspiracy theorist. So now his direct son, was actually a preacher, and he didn't want to come out with the evolution theory because it went against the Bible. So he gave it to Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin took it and he ran with it. You see, so that's another one that would be kind of trying to prove the Bible wrong, right? Because in evolution, you don't need God. What you have is just a big primordial soup. You have like lightning hitting, and then all of a sudden life began, right? And you also need millions and millions of years for that to happen as well. And then the next thing that I would say would be like the heliocentric model, right? Which is going to be Copernicus. And I didn't even want to jump all the way to this, but I'm just going to do this now because we're talking about it. So, because it definitely goes with that Romans verse where it talks about how faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of God, right? So, so now we have Copernicus, right? So this is called the heliocentric model, right? Heliocentricity, right? So I would call it the scientific trinity, the Big Bang theory. We have evolution, and then we have the heliocentric theory, even though some people would say, oh no, it's a proven fact, but I would say that it wouldn't be. So we have Copernicus. You have actually a Freemason lodge named after him. It's called Copernicus CHP 246. Now, is there anything in the records that says he's a Freemason? I can't tell you that I could find anything that tells you for sure 100% he's a Freemason. But what I would say, normally Freemasons, they would only name a lodge after someone that was a brother, right? They don't usually do that. So I do see that there's a lodge actually named after him, CHP 246. So now I have that connection. And then also Copernicus was also a bishop or a Catholic priest. So some people say he was a Jesuit. The Jesuits were formed in 1540. The heliocentric theory came out in 1542, right? So we have that connection as well. Another red flag is a conspiracy theorist. And what I would like to do real quick, since we're already in this section, is I would like to go over kind of some of his writings and the way that he speaks about the sun, the way he speaks about the planets and everything that were orbiting the sun, okay? So, and what I would like to do as a Christian, I would like you guys to definitely listen to this part and tell me if I was a Christian speaking like this, if you would appreciate it. So let's see how he talks about the sun. He says, this is in the De-Revolution Abyss of the Order of the Heavenly Bodies 10. It says, in the middle of the sun, or in the middle sits the sun enthroned. In the most beautiful temple could we place this luminary in any better position for which he can illuminate the whole at once. He is rightly called the lamp. So I'm going to pause there real quick. I'm going to pause because if you go to Revelation 22, what do you see? It says that when God creates a new heaven and a new earth, he says we no longer need the sun. There'll be no sun. Jesus will be the light.
Correct.
And he's going to be called the lamp. All right. So we have right now, before we continue, we already have the sun being enthroned. So enthroned meaning, what is God? He's on a throne, right?
Yes.
So we have the sun enthroned. So it seems like he's kind of making him like a God. He is rightly called the lamp. He says the mind, the ruler of the universe. Hermes Transgressus names him the visible God. Okay, that's what he says. And Hermes Transgressus is also another God. So he says he names the sun the visible God. It says Sophist Electra calls him the all-seeing. We know from all of our research with with Illuminati, stuff like that, we see the all-seeing eye. So we see the all-seeing here. And it says, so the sun sits upon a royal throne, ruling his children, the planets, which circle around him. The earth has the moon at her service. As Aristotle says in his own Animals, the moon has the closer relationship with the earth. Meanwhile, the earth conceives by the sun and becomes pregnant with the annual rebirth. My whole point to reading this is he's placing the sun as almost a god, and the planets are needing the sun. They're rotating around it, right? So the sun is sitting upon a royal throne, ruling his children. It almost seems like Copernicus was making the sun a god, right?